Hope you are fine. In our previous video, we have discussed about the unit cells, crystal lattice, and their types. In this video, we will discuss about the packings in a crystalline solid. It will be one-dimensional packing, two-dimensional packing, and packing in 3D, three-dimensional packing. Okay. If we discuss the crystalline solid, if we talk about the crystalline solids have particles in an order. Okay, this order is a perfect order. Okay, suppose if we arrange the particles in a linear way, okay, it forms a row, then it is one-dimensional close packing. Okay, one-dimensional close packing. The number of nearest neighbors of a particle in which the particle is attached is called coordination number. Okay, suppose this is our reference particle and it is attached with two different particles here. So the coordination number 2. Okay, there are two cases in two-dimensional packing. Okay, there are two different cases in two-dimensional close packing. One is square close packing and another one is hexagonal close packing. Square and hexagonal. If two rows are aligned, it's the two rows which are formed in one-dimensional packing, they are just aligned. Aligned means the particles are above one another. Okay, just one another. So it is what? Square close packing, like this. Okay, if you look at the particles, they form a perfect square here in two dimension. Okay, another way, if you place the second row of the particles in the depressions created by the first layer, if second row of the particle is placed in the depressions formed by the first layer, okay, this is what? Hexagonal close packing. Here the second row is placed just aligned to first layer. Okay, suppose this is A layer, then it is A row, then it is B row, and then again it is A row. Okay, this is what? Hexagonal close packing. It is hexagonal close packing because it makes a perfect hexagon here. It makes a perfect hexagon here. You can see I'm using a different color to show this hexagon, so the clear visibility. So hexagonal close packing is formed when the second row of the particle is placed in the depressions formed by the first row. Okay, look at the void. Void is the empty space between the particles. A void is empty space between the particles. So we generally form the void, we consider the shape of the void by joining the centers of the spheres, center of the particles in a solid. Here, if you join the center of the particle, you will find a square shape. If you join the center of the particles here in hexagonal close packing, you will find a triangle. So void formed in one-dimensional close packing, 0. Okay, in one-dimensional close packing, no void is formed, because if you join the center of the two spheres, there is no empty space between them. So one-dimensional closed packing do not have any void. Here, the voids are square. Okay, square voids are there in square closed packing. In hexagonal closed packing, if you consider the nearest neighbors, you will find the void, the shape of the void formed here is trigonal, like this. Trigonal voids are formed when the particles are arranged hexagonally. Okay, the coordination number in square closed packing, this is your reference particle, suppose. So it is attached with nearest 4 neighbors. 1, 2, 3, 4. The coordination number 4. Coordination number in square closed packing is 4. This is your reference particle. It is attached with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different particles. So coordination number 6 here. Coordination number in one-dimensional closed packing 2. Coordination number is square closed packing 4, and the coordination number in hexagonal closed packing 6. Okay. Now we will see the three-dimensional closed packing. Three-dimensional closed packing. So when rows are arranged, you will find the layers. Two-dimensional closed packing form layers. So if two layers, this is layer 1, this is layer 2, this is layer 3. If two layers are aligned with each other, in the same way, then it is a simple cubic packing. Okay, here the particles, the unit cell form is simple cubic unit cell because the particles are present only at the corners. Okay, it form a simple cubic structure. In body centered cubic, the particles are arranged in the depressions of first layer. Okay, first of all, we have to place the two square close packed layer aligned to each other. It will become a simple cubic structure. If two different square close packed layer align with each other, it will form simple cubic layer. Simple cubic. Suppose if you put the square close packed layer, second layer, in the depression of the first layer, it will form a body centered cubic. Okay, this is the first layer A, and this is second layer B, and then again first layer A. Okay, and the unit cell formed by this type of packing is body centered cubic. The particles are present at corners as well as at the center of the unit cell. Okay, here the coordination number is 8. The coordination number here 8 because this particle, suppose this, we are considering this particle which is present in the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The coordination number here 8. Here coordination number is 6. How? It is a 6 coordination number. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is square close packing. This is our reference particle. Okay, I'm marking it with yellow color. Okay, this is your reference particle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and one particle below this layer is present, this, and one particle above this layer. Okay, so the coordination number here, coordination number 6. The coordination number 6 in simple cubic close packing, coordination number 8 in body centered close packing structure. Now hexagonal close packing. Hexagonal close packing is formed when two-dimensional hexa close packed layer are aligned to each other, are placed above each other. Okay, here we are placing the two layers which are hexagonal, okay, above each other. We place the second layer in the depressions formed by the first layer, okay, like this. One, another, this is, just wait, one particle, another particle, then another particle. See, I'm covering these voids completely, okay, these voids completely. Now I'm neglecting these voids and again keeping the particle in the depressions formed in the next row. Okay, these are the triangular voids I am covering, triangular voids. So after placing the second layer, I will found that we have two different type of voids generated here. Two different type of voids generated here. Okay, these are tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. So if we cover a trigonal voids completely by the particle like this, I am covering the tetrahedral void with red color. Okay, this is a tetrahedral void which is completely covered by the particle. Tetrahedral void which is completely covered by the particle. This red is a tetrahedral void and this void is completely covered by the particle. Here look at the green void which is formed. Here the voids of second layer are above the voids in the first layer. So two trigonal voids are above each other. Here two trigonal voids are above each other. Okay, these voids are called octahedral voids. So we see the two type of voids here in hexagonal close packing. These are tetrahedral voids and another one is octahedral voids. Octahedral voids. So tetrahedral voids are those voids which are covered by four particles, one in above layer and three in below layer. Okay, the first layer has 3, 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay, and the fourth one is above this layer, this blue. Okay, so these are the voids which are covered by four spheres. Okay, why it is called a tetrahedral void? Because it forms a regular tetrahedron like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth one. Fourth, sorry, 1, 2, 3, and this is the fourth particle. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am marking the spheres with yellow color. 1, 2, 3, and this is the fourth. Okay, octahedral void is the void which is covered by 6 spheres. Okay, 3 in the below layer and 3 are above layer. Okay, Why it is called as octahedral void? Because it forms a perfect octahedron. See how one particle, another particle, another particle, another particle, this is covered by 6 different particles. See, okay, one particle above the layer and one particle below this layer. Okay, 1 2 3, and this is the, in the same kind of pyramid you will find here, so it becomes a perfect octahedron. Okay, here is the void present. I am marking the void with a blue color. Okay, the void here is of blue color. So in hexagonal close packing, the first layer is placed hexagonally, then the second layer is placed in the depressions created by the first layer. Okay, the third layer here is aligned to first layer. We align the third layer to first layer. Just so you will find a 2 different type of layer here, a b a b a b, like this. So this is the first layer, then again second layer, okay, then again first layer, first second first. So if it is a layer, then it is b layer, then again the third layer is similar to the first layer. Suppose if we invert, if we place the third layer opposite to first layer, then it will become a cubical close packing. Cubical close packing. Okay, in cubical close packing you will find, see here, the third layer is not aligned to first layer, it is just opposite, just opposite. Okay, just opposite the triangle which form here. So you will find a structure like this. This is the first layer, this is first layer, then second layer, then again you will not found this second first layer, it will be another form. Okay, just opposite to the first layer. Third, this is a, this is b, this is c. This is what? Cubical close packing. Both cubical close packing as well as hexagonal close packing has coordination number 12. HCP and CCP both has coordination number 12. The coordination number 12 as well as they form face centered unit cell. Face centered unit cell means here the particle are present at vertices as well as in the center of the unit cell. You can see here, okay, how this cubic close packing form a face centered cubic cell. See, 1 2, and the red one, third and fourth. Okay, these 4 particles are above the corners, at the corners, and this green particle is at the face. Again this red particle is on the corner, blue and red particle again. So they form a face centered unit cell. Both HCP and CCP, they form a face centered unit cell. So now we'll discuss the voids, tetrahedral and octahedral voids. Tetrahedral and octahedral holes, the voids, they are formed by the 2 layers, 2 different layers. Okay, they are formed by between the 2 layers. Okay, suppose if second layer completely cover the trigonal void of first layer, then it is tetrahedral void. Suppose if we place the second layer in such a way its triangular void is above the triangular void of the first layer, then it will be a octahedral void. Okay, a tetrahedral void A tetrahedral void is formed when the trigonal void of first layer is completely covered by the second layer, sphere of the second layer. Okay, see here, it form a regular tetrahedron like this. So there are how many particles? 4 particles. A tetrahedral void is covered by 4 different particles. 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th one. An octahedral void is covered by 6 different particles. 6 different particles. 3 above layer and 3 are in below layer. Okay, like this. 1, 2, 3. The void which is formed here is an octahedral void. The void which is formed here by joining the centers of the particles is an octahedral void. Okay, this is an octahedral void. The particles are present here. One, two, three, 1, 2, and the third one. Okay, the total 3 particles are in above layer, 3 particles are in below layer, and this void is a octahedral void. Okay, now we'll see the location where these voids are present in a unit cell. Okay, these voids are present at different part of the unit cell. The tetrahedral voids exist on body diagonal of a unit cell. Each body diagonal has 2 tetrahedral voids. Each body diagonal has 2 tetrahedral void. Okay, so if we calculate the number of tetrahedral void in a unit cell, so we have to calculate number of tetrahedral voids in one unit cell. How we will calculate? So there are total 4 body diagonal which are formed in a unit cell. Okay, and each body diagonal has 2 tetrahedral voids. So total number of tetrahedral voids are 8. In a face-centered unit cell, the particles are 4. Okay, number of spheres already we have calculated. Number of spheres are 4. So it has number of spheres is equal to 4 and number of tetrahedral voids are 8. So if we calculate the ratio between spheres to in a crystal, spheres to void is 2:8. Okay, 2 are the particles, 2 are the voids, voids to sphere, So per sphere there are 2 void. Per sphere there are 2 void. Per particle there are 2 voids. So 4 are the particles in a unit cell and 8 are the tetrahedral voids. So 4:8 means 2:1. So if there are 1 sphere in the unit cell, the voids are 2. If there are 100 spheres in a unit cell, the voids will be tetrahedral voids. T voids, you can say tetrahedral voids. O voids, octahedral voids, and T voids, tetrahedral voids. Okay, location of octahedral void is at the edge of the unit cell. We know edge of the unit cell. So now we will calculate the number of octahedral voids. So each edge has 1/4 contribution. Each edge has 1/4 contribution. Okay, and there are total number of 12 edges are there in a unit cell. So number of octahedral voids which are present on the center of the edge will be 3. Okay, In the same way, one octahedral void is present at the center of the unit cell. Okay, a center of the unit cell has one octahedral void. So octahedral voids are present at two different locations in a unit cell, face centered unit cell. They are at the edge of the unit cell as well as at the center of the unit cell. So it is completely present here. So total number of voids will become 3 plus 1, 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. Okay, we know very well there are 4 spheres, 4 particles there in a face centered unit cell. Face centered unit cell, a face centered unit cell has 4 particles. So if we calculate the unit cell, if we calculate the ratio between them, so see, number of octahedral voids, we can say ovoids. Yes, we can say octahedral voids, ovoids, 4 in one unit cell. Number of spheres is equal to 4. So the ratio is 4 is to 4 in means 1 is to 1. If there are 100 particles in a unit cell, in a crystal, if a crystal has 100 particles, so the number of octahedral voids will be 100 and the number of tetrahedral voids will be 200, because the ratio is 2 is to 1 in case of tetrahedral voids. The ratio in octahedral void is 1 is to 1. Okay, we have some problems related to these voids. The question, first question: a solid made up of hexagonal array of B particles and all tetrahedral voids are filled by A particles. So HCP, sorry, hexagonal array. HCP is formed by B form HCP and tetrahedral voids are filled by A. So how you will solve this question? You have to deduce the formula of the crystal. So question is asking you, what is the formula of crystal? For that, you have to assume, first of all, suppose the number of B is equal to X, Y, Z, 100. You can suppose anything. Okay, just I'm taking it's 1. Okay, I'm taking, you can say X, you can say Y, anyone. Okay, number of, if there is one particle, number of tetrahedral voids will be, we know very well the number of tetrahedral voids will be double, because the ratio between the tetrahedral void and the particles is 2 is to 1. So if there is one particle, the tetrahedral void will be 2. In this way, the number of B particle, look at the question, what will be the number of B particle? According to the question, number of A particle, sorry, B particle already we have assumed 1. It should be number of A particle. I'm deleting it. Okay, number of B particle. Okay, number of A particle we have to calculate now, because already we have calculated the B. Number of A particle are filled by, all the A particle fill the tetrahedral voids. So if two tetrahedral voids are there, the B particle, A particle will be 2. Okay, formula will be A into B. We have supposed the B particle as 1. Automatically the A particle will be 2. The formula of the compound will be A2B. The formula of compound will be A2B. We have another problem. Iron oxide forms CCP of oxide and 2/3 of the octahedral holes are filled by iron. 2/3 of octahedral holes, we have to assume the particles by which the hexagonal or cubical close packed array is formed. So here the cubical array is formed by oxide ion. So we have to suppose it. Okay. Suppose the number of oxide ion is equal to 1 in the same way. Okay. Which particle form hexagonal or cubical close packed array, we have to assume it. Okay. Here the hexagonal array is formed by cubical close packed array is formed by oxide ion. So we have assumed that 1 as 1. In the same way, here they have discussed the octahedral holes. Octahedral holes are just same as the number of spheres. So if number of sphere 1 is there, number of octahedral holes will be same. Number of octahedral holes is equal to 1. Okay. Now we have to calculate the number of oxide atoms, oxide ion, or number of iron. Number of iron atoms or iron ions. To deduce the formula, it says 2/3 of the octahedral holes are filled by iron. Okay. So 2/3 octahedral holes are 1 and 2/3 of the octahedral holes 2 into 2 upon 3. Okay. So if you multiply both of them, it will be 2 upon 3. In the same way, we have to compare the iron and oxide ions. So iron is 2 upon 3 and the oxide is 1. Okay. So we cannot take any particle in a fraction. So we have to remove this fraction. So if you multiply both of them by 3, the fraction will be removed. Okay. Why we are multiplying 3 only? Because 3 cancel the denominator of Fe. So that's why we have considered it 3. So multiply both the particles by 3. So formula will be Fe2O3. The formula of iron oxide will be Fe2O3. Now we will calculate the radius of octahedral voids. This is an again important topic. Radius of octahedral voids. And how we have to calculate it, how we can calculate the octahedral voids. First of all, we know very well the octahedral holes are present between the 6 particles. Okay, 1, 2, 2, 3, and this is the 4th one. Here the octahedral holes are present. Here octahedral holes are present. Okay, I have made a triangle, right angle triangle. Okay, this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay, AC is equal to capital R. Suppose the radius of the sphere is capital R and the radius of the void is, this is the void, smallest part, the smallest space between them. Okay, the small r is the radius of void. Okay, you have to multiply by 2. Why? Because small r plus capital R 1, small r plus capital R 1. Okay, so there are 2 small r capital R. So AC is equal to 2 capital R plus small r AC. Okay, AB is equal to BC and they is equal to they equal to 2R. Okay, so now Apply the Pythagoras theorem here. AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Okay, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. Okay, we know very well the AC square will be 2 capital R plus small r and its whole square. In the same way, AB square is 2R whole square, BC square is 2R whole square of the 2R. Okay, now just open this whole square. It will be 4 capital R plus small r whole square, and it will be 4 to the 8 r square. Okay, 4r square plus 4r square is equal to 8r square. Now capital R plus small r whole square, just take this 4 to this side. Okay, 8 upon 4 capital R square. Now it will be what? 8 upon 4 is equal to 2r square. Just remove the this square and it will be a square root. Okay, capital R plus small r, it will be a square root. You will find 1.4 root 2 into r. If you open this square root, it will be root 2 into r. Again, capital R plus small r is equal to 1.414 capital R. Just take the small r value and you will find 0.414 capital R. So small r is equal to 0.414 capital R. So what does it mean? It means the radius of sphere is 0.414 time greater than the radius of an octahedral void. Okay, now we will calculate the radius of tetrahedral void. We know very well a tetrahedral void is present inside the unit cell. Okay, inside the unit cell like this. This is a unit cell and a tetrahedral void is present inside it. Okay, and a tetrahedral void is surrounded by 4 different spheres. 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the tetrahedral, these are the 4 particles which surround this blue color tetrahedral void. So this blue color particle is a tetrahedral void and we have covered it with 4 different particles. Okay, now see, this is the body diagonal which is passing through the void. Okay, and we have made a triangle, right angle triangle here by joining the center of the 2 spheres. This is A, this is B, this is C. Okay, these AC particles are in contact of each other. In the same way, these 2 particles are in contact of each other. So we know very well SE is equal to 2R. Okay, and this is the deep, and you will find one more right angle triangle here. This is what? ACD. Okay, and after looking at the figure, you can conclude that AD is equal to 2 small r. Small r is the radius of the tetrahedral void, and capital R is the radius of a sphere. Okay, AD is equal to, because AD include the sphere as well as the void. Okay, so AD is equal to 2 capital R plus small r. So we will start now. First of all, look at the triangle ABC. In triangle ABC, you will find AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. See, look here. AB is equal to edge of the unit cell. BC is equal to edge of the unit cell. Okay. In the same way, CD is equal to edge of the unit cell. So AC, what is AC? AC square. AC we know very well. It is 2R. AB we know very well. This is A. So A square. BC we know very well. This is again A. This is A square. Okay. And it is 2R whole square. So what you will find, 4R square, if you open the whole square, you will find A plus A square is equal to 2A square. Okay, 2A square. Now R square will be 1 upon 2 A square, and R will be 1 upon root 2. 1 upon root 2 into A. Okay, this is what? The radius of sphere and edge. But we have to calculate the radius of tetrahedral void. Okay. Now see another triangle. Triangle ACD. Okay. Triangle ACD. Here AD square is hypotenuse. So AD square is equal to AC square plus CD square. Okay. We know already AC square is equal to 2A square from here. AC square is equal to 2A square. So AD square is equal to 2A square plus A square, because CD is also equal to A. Okay. Now AC square we know very well. Sorry, it is not AC, it is AD. AD square we know very well, 2R plus R. So keep the value here, 2R plus R small r, its whole square, like this. 2R plus R, its whole square, and it will be root 3, sorry, it will be A square plus A square, 3A square. Just remove the square from here on. Square from here on, you will find 2R capital R plus small r, and it will be the cube root of 3 into A. Okay. And capital R plus small r will be, capital R plus small r will be root 3 upon 2 into A. Now you have to compare. You have to compare the edge of capital R plus small r and capital R again. Okay. You can say this is equation number 1. You can say this is equation number 2. So you compare, divide equation 2 by 1. Okay. Look here. Dividing equation 2 by 1. What you will find, capital R plus small r upon capital R is equal to The equation 1 is capital R, the equation 2 is capital R plus small r is equal to root 3 upon 2 into A. In the same way, equation 1 is 1 upon root 2 into A. So here A get cancelled by A, and what we will get, capital R plus small r upon capital R equal to root 3 upon root 2. Okay, root 3 upon root 2. Root 3 value we know very well, it is 1.73. Root 2 value is 1 upon 414, 1.414. If you divide both of them, you will find 1.225. Okay, 1.225. Now cross multiply capital R plus small r is equal to 1.225 into capital R. Okay, we have cross multiplied it. Small r is equal to 1.225 capital R minus capital R, and what we will get, small r is equal to 0.225 capital R. So the ratio between the tetrahedral void and the radius of a sphere is 1 is to 0.225. Okay, so the radius of tetrahedral void is 0.225 smaller times smaller than radius of a sphere, or you can say radius of a sphere is 0.225 times greater than radius of tetrahedral void. Again, we can say the radius of tetrahedral void is smaller than radius of octahedral void. So octahedral void is bigger than tetrahedral void. It's obvious. It's obvious. It is clear because tetrahedral void is covered by 4 particles, so there is a less space. However, the octahedral void is covered by 6 particles, 6 spheres, so there is more space. Okay. We are ending up this video here only. In our next video, we will discuss the density of crystalline solid, okay, and their packing efficiency. So till then, take care, stay safe, and like this video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you.